Hello students, welcome back in this class for the students of standard 9th. Today in this session we will study a new chapter, poem No Men Are Foreign, written by James Kirkup. So let's start to know about the author, the poet of this poem, James Falconer Kirkup. He was born 23rd April 1918 and he died 10th May 2009, was a prolific English poet, translator and travel writer. He wrote over 30 books including autobiographies, novels and plays. He became a fellow at the Royal Society of Literature in 1962 after writing simple verses and rhymes from the age of 6 and the publication of his first poetry book, The Drowned Sailor, in 1947. Kirkup's published work encompassed several dozen collections of poetry, and there were the 6 volumes of autobiography, over 100 monographs of original work and translations, and thousands of shorter pieces in journals and periodicals, right? Okay. His skilled writing of haiku and tanka is acknowledged internationally. So students, that is all about the poet James Kirkup. So let's start to read the poem No Men Are Foreign. Before you read, have you ever thought of some people as strange or other countries as foreign? We have many ways of thinking of other people as different from us. As them, they may belong to a different country or speak a different language. So in this poem, however, the poet reminds of all the many ways in which we are all the same, for we are all the human. So student, first let me know about the introduction of this poem. The title No Men Are Foreign means that the no men belong to another country. The poet wants to say that all men are same, right? So all men are equal. Here in this poem, the poet wants to tell us that everyone in this world is same. All people, all men are same. They eat, live, die the same way. Okay, right? So here in this poem, the poet wants to promote the concept of universal brotherhood, right? So here a universal concept of brotherhood, that is the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So students, let's start to read the paragraph. First paragraph, remember no men are strange, no countries foreign, beneath all uniform. A single body breathes like ours. The land our brother walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. In the first line, the poet says that no men are strange and no country is foreign. So he is attempting to remove the borders from the earth which have been erected to separate different countries. Then only no country will be foreign, right? So okay, we will feel every country as our own land when there will be no border. Everyone will be free to move around. The poet wants to say that the entire earth is one and all the people who live on this earth belong to one human race. Okay, right. Then he says that inside the uniform worn by soldiers of different countries, the human being is the same. God has made all of us in a similar way, right? All breathe the same way. Here, all breathe the same way. Then he says that all the soldiers are our brothers. We all walk upon the same Mother Earth, and upon our death we shall lie in the grave in the same earth. Right? You understood? Here, beneath means under and strange means unknown. Go to next paragraph. They too, aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. Their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. So here they refer to those people who belong to other countries. We call them foreigners and discriminate them and fight with them also, right? So the poet says that nature has given all the bounties to all people, also just like has He has given to us. Everyone gets sunlight, air, and water in equal measure, right? Which means that God does not differentiate between people from different country. For God, all are same. We all do we all do farming during the time of peace and there is no war, and we live a relaxed life and eat the things given to us by nature, right? So here further the poet adds that the way we starve during wars and winter time is the same for those belonging to other countries. Even they don't get food at that time. So he wants to say that foreigners who belong to another country and we both are the same. And then the poet says that even their hands are same as ours. They work very hard, just like we do. He is giving all these examples to convey to the reader that there is no difference in us and the people belonging to another country. Right? Understood? Move to next paragraph. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love in every land is common, that all can recognize and understand. So the poet asks the reader to remember something. He says that we should keep in mind that the people of another country whom we think to be our enemies have been bestowed by God with similar appearance like us. So God has given them eyes like ours, which open when awake, right? And close when we are asleep. Okay. So similarly, He has given them strength which we can win through love. So love is the greatest strength. So then he says that in every country, in every land, there is one common thing, that is life. Life means all the things that are living. And if we can recognize them, if we can understand their feelings and realize that they are like us, then there will be no fights or war between us. So move to next paragraph. So here you can see the picture, the war between two countries. Let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispose, betray, condemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other. Here arms means weapon. Disposes means deprive. And betray means condemn. So here the poet says that we should remember that whenever someone tells us to hate a person from another country, to think as our enemy, to think him as our enemy. And whenever we think someone to be our enemy, then we deprive ourselves. So we cheat ourselves. Whom we are cheating? We are cheating ourselves. And we condemn ourselves. He says that we should stay away from such negativity. We should not consider anyone to be our enemy. During a war, both the parties must bear the loss, and that is why the poet says that war is not in our favor. He says that whenever we pick any weapon against someone, we should remember one thing, that they are our brother and sister. No men are foreign. Move to next paragraph. It is the human earth that we defiled. Our haze of fire and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign and no country is strange. Here defile means making dirty or pollute. Outrage the innocence of means violate the purity of. So here we should keep in mind that whenever we pick weapon against any person, we make the earth dirty, because weapon kills people and their bodies which fall on the earth, and that make it dirty. Our Mother Earth becomes dirty. Whenever war happens, it leads to a lot of bloodshed, fire and death. These dead bodies accumulate on the earth and make it impure, right? Okay. So the fire of war which erupt, the smoke which comes out, the dust which fills the air, and it is so dirty that it pollutes the outrages of the purity of the air. With all these things, the poet wants to give us a message that we should not indulge in war. So, we are not in favor of war. Finally, he ends the poem by writing the first line in reverse and saying that remember, no men are foreign and no countries are strange. We are all brother and sister of this land, and we are living and we all are living the same life, same air, water, sun. So that is all about the poem. Students, I think all you understood it. Very good chapter, moralizers. Thank you. Study well, keep learning.